There, that should do it. It's practically concealed now. Come in. Can I speak with Mr. Richards, madam?
He's still at work. Can you tell me what this is about?
Your husband does not know me. I'm here to discharge a matter that has long been on my mind. There's a paper attached to this act that will explain everything. You will not see me again. Good night, madam.
My word. This sack contains gold coin weighing 90 pounds. Mercy! And my door not locked? I am a stranger to HadleyBurg, but I have always been grateful to this good town for kindness done to me some years ago. I arrived here one night a penniless gambler, hungry and alone. I asked for help in the dark because I was ashamed to beg in the light. I begged of the right man, and he gave me $20. Wow. That is to say, he gave me life. Out of that money, I made myself rich at the gaming table. But this man gave me another gift. He made a remark that conquered me and saved my morals. I will gamble no more. I have no idea who the man was, but I am confident that he can be found by the remark that he made to me. I am certain that he will remember it. When he identifies himself, the money will be his? Oh, heavens! Could it be my Edward? Oh, could it possibly be? No, not $20. But still. And now my plan is this, Mr. Richards. You may conduct the investigation privately and share with whomever you wish the contents of this letter. And if he says, I am the man, and the remark I made was so-and-so, apply the test. Open the sack, and in it you will find a sealed envelope containing the remark. If the remark given by the candidate tallies with it, give him the money, for he is certainly the right man.
Why was the door locked, Mary?
Edward, did you give $20 to a stranger, and did you make a memorable remark to him?
I'm too old to joke, Mary. I'm too tired after the day I had with Pinkerton.
Think, Edward. Is it possible?
$20 and a remark. Well, more like 20 remarks and no dollar at all. What's this all about?
A stranger was just here, and he left this, with these instructions.
£90? Why, that's $40,000. At the gaming table. It's winnings from gambling, Mary.
Never mind that.
Never mind it, but...
Oh, I know. It's terrible. Terrible. But just keep reading the letter.
You may conduct the investigation privately. Investigation?
That's as far as I got. Read the rest of it to me.
But if you prefer a public inquiry, then publish this letter into the local paper with the instructions that a town meeting is to be held 1 week from the date of publication to be officiated by Reverend Burgess. Before the meeting, the candidate will have submitted his remark to Reverend Burgess, who will break the seal of the envelope inside the sack and see if the remark is correct. If it is, let the money be delivered with my sincere gratitude. No signature. What a strange affair.
Isn't it marvelous, Edward? Isn't it a wonderful opportunity?
It certainly is. HadleyBurg will shine ever more brightly once the word of this gets out. The stranger obviously knows of the town's reputation for incorruptibility.
So you're going to publish it?
Yes? Isn't that what you meant?
Yes, of course.
I hope I can reach Cox before he sends tomorrow's issue off for printing. I shan't be going long here.
What is it, dear? Oh, good evening, Edward.
Evening, Margaret.
Good heavens. What is it? Did you reach him in time?
He took it to the station. He hoped to catch Johnny with the insert before the train left. Cox said he wouldn't be surprised if other papers reprinted it. An item like this, with the money and the intrigue, is likely to draw all sorts of interest.
I wonder why this man chose you to be the custodian of the gold. Your age, I suppose.
And my reputation.
Oh yes, certainly. But mainly your age, dear.
In any case, I don't expect anyone to come forward.
Oh?
There's only one person who can be the rightful claimant, and he's dead.
Barclay Goodson.
Barclay Goodson. I can think of no one in the town who would give a stranger $20 except for Goodson. Not because he was rich, he wasn't, but because he was different. He would do it on a whim, and of course he would attach a remark to it. He was full of remarks.
What could that remark have been?
Goodson being, well, just open the envelope and read it.
This is not a time for jokes, Edward. You were joking, weren't you?
Do you even have to ask? To open the envelope, you would have to break the seal. We would be found out. With Goodson being dead, there really is no rightful claimant.
What would become of the gold then? Would we hunt up the stranger?
Did he leave his name?
No. And he said we would never see him again.
I wonder.
If we should give the matter more thought.
I'll see if I can reach him in time before he sends tomorrow's issue off for printing.
Hurry!
That's the most fantastic tale I ever heard. 90 pounds?
Richards estimates it at $40,000.
And just staying there in the kitchen?
I believe it's in the sitting room.
Oh, don't fuss over petty details. Who knows about... Why didn't he choose...
Why did he choose Richards? Why not any of the other 12 men on the town council? Who can say? All I know is that the gold will never go to the person who gave this man $20.
Ah, because you think it goes to Barclay Goodson.
There's no question about it.
Who knows about the gold so far?
Just the Richards and us, but as soon as the letter's published, everyone will know. And if it was Barclay Goodson, as I'm sure it was, then people will get agitated over nothing. There's no use in putting the town through that.
Exactly. Hurry!
Henry, I was looking for you. Mary and I discussed that letter further, and you were wondering.
It's too late. It's gone. It'll be in the morning paper.
I see.
Why'd you have to be in such a hellfire hurry to get it printed?
And why did you have to dash off to the station with it?
Well? Did you reach him in time?
It's too late. It's gone to the printer.
Well, why'd you have to be in such a hurry to get it printed?
Don't you mean hellfire hurry?
Well, you practically galloped out of here.
I didn't feel you pulling on my rein.
You should have handled it privately. It was never my idea to publish it.
Well,
It's too late. It's gone to the printer.
why'd you have to be in such a hellfire hurry to get it printed?
Watch your tongue. We had our opportunity, and now it's gone. If things are ordered to happen this way, then it's ordered to happen this way.
Ordered. Everything's always ordered. When someone has gone off and done something stupid.
Thank you so much, madam. Very helpful. Pardon me, are you Reverend Burgess?
Oh, another reporter. Let me guess, from Easton? I haven't met any from Easton yet.
I'm from Brixton. There certainly are a few of us.
Might I trouble you for a moment? I know a minister's life is a busy one, but...
I'm happy to talk with you.
Well, I'll open with the question I'm sure everyone has asked. Why did the benefactor ask you to officiate in the town meeting?
Got my answer to that one down pretty well by now. Let's see. I have no idea. You may quote me on that.
Do you know him?
I told the last reporter no, but I now see that could possibly be wrong. I might know him and just not know that I know him. I didn't see him the night he made his surprise and delivery. Only Miss Richards did.
Do you know why the benefactor chose Mr. Richards to guard the gold?
You make them sound like dragons, young man. The sack's no longer with them. It's presently at Pinkerton's bank. You can go look at it if you like. Everyone else has. In any case, the stranger chose wisely when he chose Richards. A more upstanding citizen you will not find.
So I've heard.
Let me save you the trouble of asking your next question, which will be about the remark made to the stranger, the open sesame to the sack of gold. I hear speculation about it on every corner, which of course is ridiculous. No one can possibly guess it out. And if by chance they did, if it's a mere guess, then they're no more entitled to the gold than you are. Please don't write any of that. It sounds disrespectful of my neighbors.
Very well. I would like to speak with some of your parishioners. Which church is yours?
I don't have a church.
It's too early for you to be put out to pasture.
Did you have a church here formerly?
Burgess! May I trouble your reverence for a match?
Sorry, Jack. Don't have one.
Are you by any chance Jack Halliday?
Are you by any chance a person who has a match?
No. Sorry, I was told to speak to you if you're Halliday.
Oh, that's Halliday, all right. But he'll fool with you and make you guess for a week before he admits to it. He'll give you a fresh view of the town. Won't you, Jack?
Bunch of sanctimonial.
And you can quote him on that. I'll leave the three of you to it.
Thanks, Reverend. A scribe, are you? An ink-stained wretch.
Oh, what could the remark have been?
If only we knew. Is there a danger that someone at the bank will break the seal and read the letter?
The envelope is safe. It's in an honorable community.
Would you say,
Yes?
it stabs my conscience, Edward? I'm ashamed of my behavior the other night.
I feel the same way about myself, Mary.
Oh, and I spoke harshly to you too.
I wasn't even thinking of that. What haunts me now is I was willing to violate the stranger's trust when I went to recall the letter. What were we thinking? That we were going to burn the letter and split the proceeds with the Coxes?
Oh, Edward, when you put it into words, it sounds so horrible.
That's the thought we entertained.
I can't deny it, and I can't explain it. I guess we've just never been tested like this. We've never been truly tempted. Don't you agree, Edward, that this is the first time in our lives that we've been truly tested?
Not in my life, Mary.
Oh?
I had never planned to talk about this. That business involving Reverend Burgess.
The offense he committed after he moved here?
They were rumors, Mary.
They weren't just rumors. You know, Lucille King told me...
They were rumors! Nothing but rumors! I could have saved him. I could have spoken on his defense. But everyone was so wrought up, I just...
But the town!
The town convicted him with gossip.
Oh, Edward, I remember those times. The few people who did speak on his behalf were immediate outcasts.
I didn't have the manliness to do it. I did do one thing for him, though. A little thing by comparison.
What?
When the village was at fever pitch, and everyone was going to ride him out of town on a rail, I warned him, and he got away until things cooled down.
You warned him? I thought it was Barclay Goodson.
I didn't care.
That was dangerous.
The result is that Burgess is eternally grateful and friendly to me.
He's been friendly to me too. I've wondered why.
Because I did him a great favor. Great. He has no idea I could have done him a greater one by declaring his innocence. That is the temptation I was referring to, Mary. The temptation to do nothing, to be a coward. I was tested and I failed. With God's help, never again. What's this?
Oh, it came in the late mail. I assumed it was another reporter wanting an interview. What, Edward?
Sit, dear. You must sit or you will drop to the floor.
Edward, you're worrying me.
I am a stranger to you.
The stranger again?
No, this is from a different stranger.
Go on, read.
I am a stranger to you, but that is no matter. I live far from HadleyBurg, but have just read the story of the sack of gold intended for a man who made a significant remark to an impoverished visitor. I know who made that remark. And I am the only person living who knows. It was Barclay Goodson.
Barclay Goodson, just as we thought.
I knew Goodson well many years ago, and I passed through your village that very night, and I was his guest. I overheard him make the remark to the stranger in the dark. We talked of it the rest of the way home and back at his house. Goodson mentioned many of your villagers, many of them in a very uncomplimentary way, 2 or 3 favorably. Among this latter, Mr. Richards, was yourself.
Who would have thought?
I say favorably, nothing more. I remember him saying he did not actually like any person in town.
Oh.
Not a single one. That you, I think he said you, I'm almost sure, had done him a very great service once, possibly without knowing the full value of it.
Oh, Edward.
He said that he wished for a fortune, for he would leave it to you when he died, and a curse apiece for the rest of the citizens.
A fortune? If only Barclay Goodson had had one. Stop that infernal chuckling. Just keep reading.
Now then, if it was you that did him that service, Mr. Richards, you are his legitimate heir and entitled to the sack of gold.
Oh!
May I chuckle now? May I?
No, you chucklehead. Keep reading.
I know that I can trust to your honor and honesty, for to a citizen in HadleyBurg, these virtues are an unfailing inheritance. So I am going to reveal to you the remark. I am well satisfied that if you are not the right man, you will seek and find him. That Goodson's debt of gratitude the service is referred to as paid. This is the remark. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform.
Oh, Edward, the money is ours, and so needed. Now you are free of Pinkerton and his bank. You are nobody's slave anymore.
It's hard to believe. It's too good to be true.
But how fine it was of you to do this service for Barclay Goodson and never mention it to me. What was it, Edward? Tell me.
Why, Mary, I can't. I just can't.
Oh, why ever not?
Because Goodson made me promise not to.
But can't you... No, you shouldn't break a promise, Edward. That's almost as bad as lying. You keep your promise, Edward. What was the name of this man, this friend of Goodson's?
It's signed Howard L. Stevenson.
Oh, well, bless you, Howard L. Stevenson, this friend of Barclay Goodson. Oh, and bless you, Barclay Goodson. And bless that strange Cape man in the night who scared me with his sack of gold. Oh, read those magic words again, Edward, just read them.
You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform.
Oh, you are far from being a bad man. Go and reform.
You are far from
You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform.
I knew Goodson well many years ago, and I passed through your village that very night and was his guest. I overheard him make the remark to the stranger in the dark.
Goodson mentioned many of your villagers, most of them in a very uncomplimentary way. But two of you favorably among these latter, Mr. Hawkins.
You do not actually like any person in this town. Not one. That you, I think you said you, I'm almost sure, had done him a very great service to you. Like, without knowing the full value of it.
Now then, if it was you who did that service, Mr. Cox, you are his legitimate heir. If it was you who did that service, Mr. Cox, you are his legitimate heir and are entitled to the sack of gold.
Now then, who is you that did that service, Mr. Hawkins, or his legitimate heir?
Now then, if it was you that did him that service, Mr. Blair, you are his legitimate heir and are entitled to the sack of gold?
Oh, Edward, just think of what we can do with this house.
We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves, dear.
Well, why not?
Why not, indeed?
I wish you could tell me what service you did for Barclay Goodson. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform.
A penny for your thought, Mr. Richards.
No, I'm not, but I can do things.
Do you think it's possible to do someone a favor, but not know that you had done it?
Well, it's a paradox, isn't it? How would I have known if I had done the favor if I didn't know I had done it?
Let's say he told you later, much later, that you had done him this favor.
Oh, I see how that could happen. Yes, bread upon the waters and all that.
But only when he told you, he didn't tell you exactly what that favor was.
Why ever not?
Because he was dead.
Oh, did he begin to tell me about the favor, but then he died before he could conclude the narrative?
No, I admitted the detail. Someone else told you that you had done this particular party a favor. The party had died by then.
Oh, and the person who informed me could not identify the favor?
That is correct.
What?
And the person said he thought it was you that had done this party a favor. He thought it.
Thought it.
That is correct.
He wasn't certain.
He was fairly certain. Not entirely. It could have been someone else, but he thought it was you.
So, to sum up, what we have is a dead party who, presumably before he died, told his second party that someone had done him a favor. And the second party thinks that the third party is someone who had done him the favor, but the second party only thinks it. Why is the identity of the party uncertain? Did the first party not know for certain who had done him the favor, or did the second party not hear, or possibly forget the identity of the third party?
The latter of the latter.
I am stumped, Mr. Richards. Is there much at stake in this quandary?
My immortal soul. I'm sorry I've troubled you.
There you are, young man. I had that you're looking for me.
Yes, I assume you're the town historian.
Something like. Walk with me. I have an errand. Hello there, Jack. How are you? River, you're a smart fellow. Help me out. There are 12 disciples on the city council.
Not the word I would use, but the number is correct.
6 of them ain't never spoke to me.
I'm sorry to hear it.
Don't be sorry. I wish none of them did. But here's the puzzle. 2 of them that don't say hello to me said hello to me this morning. 1 just now.
Well, there does seem to be an abundance of good cheer about town lately.
Reverend, I have something for you. Hello, Jack. How are you?
3.
Pardon?
3. Something's in the wind, Red. Figure this out. Wilson, the architect, told me a month ago that business was so slow, he was going to pull up the stakes and move to Brixton. But he just now told me that 3 or 4 disciples came to his office and set up appointments to talk about big new houses.
Really? That's remarkable.
Something's in the wind. Wilson said they were strutting with their chests so stuck out they could barely fit through the door, like this.
Reverend, I'm glad I caught you. Here's a little something requiring inquiry for the meeting tonight. Jack Halliday, how are you? My good man, how are you?
He makes 4. Maybe I should count him twice.
And the lumber mill certainly changed things. The population at the time was just about 300, but a year later, the population was up to 350. When the railroad went to Easton, said,
What are all the big
that's
wigs
fast
giving you
enough.
envelopes for? Bribes? That couldn't be possible here in HadleyBurg, not in broad daylight. Hello, Edward. Here comes Richard. He always says hello to me.
Reverend, I have something for you. Close of tonight's meeting.
Very well. Shall I come with you to get it?
Oh no, I have it.
Like I said,
Something in the wind. Is your speech ready?
Right here.
It's going to be a glorious night. You must give them all a few weeks to celebrate.
capital idea. The gals are wearing brand new outfits. Expensive, I calculate. Though I'm a poor judge.
If we would come to order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the village, as well as visitors from other towns, you all know that HadleyBurg has long been blessed with a reputation for incorruptibility. Under Providence, that reputation has become inestimably enhanced by the trust that the stranger has shown in this. A symbol of the town's integrity and spotless honesty. Yours is a community where not a single person could be beguiled to touch a penny that is not his own. I shall say no more. The sack says it all. It's a stranger's eloquent recognition of who you are. And now, the moment that we have all been awaiting. This was given to me by a citizen of HadleyBurg. The remark I made was, "You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform." It is signed, Henry Cox.
Reverend, are you sure of the signature?
Of course I am, Mr. Hawkins. It's right here before my eyes.
Then I'm a victim of thievery. Cox copied a document from my desk before I signed it and transmitted it to you.
That is an outrageous accusation.
Gentlemen, please, let's observe the proprieties. Mr. Hawkins, I do recall you giving me an envelope. Let me see. Ah, here we are. My word,
Read it, Rev.
this is signed by Mr. Hawkins. The remark I made was, "You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform."
You're a thief.
You're a liar and a thief.
Gentlemen, please. This bizarre duplication aside, the most important text is contained inside the sack. The words spoken to the stranger that night. One of these says not to be opened until all written communications delivered to the chair have been read. Very well, I shall set this envelope to one side. The other reads simply the remark. On that dark night, as I passed through HadleyBurg, my benefactor gave me $20, and he said that although he seldom gave advice to anyone, he felt compelled to do so on this occasion. The words he said will never fade from my memory. He said, "You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. Or someday, for your sins, you will die and go to hell for HadleyBurg. Try and make it the former." Oh yeah, I deeply regret that I had to read that. Now, gentlemen, Mr. Cox and Mr. Hawkins, we have a problem, not just of identical completed quotations, but of incomplete quotations as well. Neither of your texts expresses the full wording of the original, which, might I add, would be quite hard to forget. Mr. Cox, would you care to comment? Mr. Hawkins?
Mr. Chairman, I ask the indulgence of the House while I explain this most painful matter.
This should be good. He's a lawyer.
I confess, for confess I must, that on that night when I endeavored to lighten the load of the visiting stranger with $20, a heavy load of a personal nature went upon me from the day's labors. And unfortunately, it said everything contained in the test remark, including the words that disparaged our town.
Bravo.
When the stranger's intentions with the sack were published, I of course knew that I was entitled to claim it. Now bear in mind, that night the stranger's gratitude to me knew no bounds. He said that he could find no words that were adequate, and if he could ever do so ungrateful a thing as to include those fine words slandering the town, thereby setting a trap for me? It was preposterous. I assumed his test remark would contain only the kindly opening clause of my remark. And so, with perfect confidence and trust, I wrote on a piece of paper the words ending with "go" in the form. I signed the paper for transmittal to you, Reverend Burgess, but before inserting it into the envelope, I was called out of my office. When I returned, I noted two things. The paper had shifted its position on my desk. I assumed at the time from a draft. And Cox was passing by outside my window, evidently having just left my office. I leave it to the citizens of HadleyBurg to arrive at an inevitable conclusion.
Lies! Those are lies!
Silence! We have more important business to transact. I have numerous other envelopes that are to be opened. Tonight. Almost a dozen in all.
Better and better. The stranger sent the same letter to all 12 of these councilmen. Burgess is going to read all of them.
The remark I made to the stranger was this. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. It is signed, Charles Blair.
Poor Hawkins, the victim of 2 thieves.
What does it mean?
This one is signed by Arthur Yates. The remark I made was, you are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. The remark I made to the stranger is, you are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. Signed by Edgar Bilson.
My friends, if I may have the floor for a moment. You know me, you know my life. I believe the time has come.
Mr. Richards, your intention is noble, but I cannot allow you to plead for these men.
But I was going to...
Please, take your seat, Mr. Richards. We must continue.
Oh, Mary, the shame will be even greater if we find out that I was only going to plead for myself.
This one is signed Edgar Knowles. The remark I made was, you are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. Here's one from Thomas Pinkerton. You are far from being a bad man. Go and reform. Nicholas Whitworth. Leonard Sargent.
That's 11. Where next?
I seem to have worked through all of the envelopes.
Can it be? Praise the Lord, you lost your letter.
Wow, that's the entire town council except for Edward Richards. Hurrah for Richards, the only genuine incorruptible.
We have further business to conclude. There is the second envelope from the stranger to be opened now that all of the written communications delivered to the chair have been read. Citizens of HadleyBurg, there is no test remark. Nobody made one, nor is there a gift of $20. These are pure inventions. On that night, as I passed through HadleyBurg, I received a deep offense that I had not earned. Any other man would have been content to kill 1 or 2 of you and call it square. But to me, that would have been a trivial revenge, and inadequate, for the dead do not suffer. I wanted to damage every man and woman in the town, and not in their bodies, but in their vanity, the place where feeble and foolish people are most vulnerable. I disguised myself and came back and studied you. You were easy game. I knew you had never been truly tested. I laid a plan, I baited my hook, and unless I missed my guess, all 12 fish I targeted took the bait. Now the gold belongs to the town to distribute as it sees fit.
Open it. Show us the gold.
They're simply gilded discs of lead. They're worthless.
Hawkins, don't you want your share of the money? Get out the money! Oh, in the name of Baptist? Mr. Chairman, can I make a proposal?
Yes, Jack. It's good to see you observing the proprieties for a change.
One true incorruptible has emerged tonight, and that is Mr. Edward Richards. I propose we should hold a public auction for the sack of gold. lead, with the money from the highest bidder going to Richard's family for their unblemished record of service to our town. I propose the auction be held 1 week from tonight.
Very good, Jack. If my sense of the house is correct, that proposal passes by acclamation. We shall reconvene in 1 week. This concludes our business for tonight.
Are you a resident?
No, a stranger passing through. I was curious about the meeting.
It showed that there's one honest man in town anyway.
I guess strongly.
What do you mean?
Never mind. Do you know Miss Richards?
No, he seems like a thoughtful man.
And perhaps a deserving one.
Looks like I'll be in HadleyBurg for another week. But at least now I won't feel like the only one in town who's capable of sin.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was Lucille King.
Mary, if one more congratulator comes to the door, I am going to scream. It's like burning coals in my head.
Oh, Edward. You don't look well. Maybe we should go to bed.
As if I could sleep, I'll never sleep again. Damnation! Can't you leave us alone?
Edward, please. What will people think?
What's this? More life-changing mail? That's what we need.
It's from Reverend Burgess.
You saved me in a difficult time. I saved you tonight. To do it, I had to lie, but I made that sacrifice freely out of a grateful heart. None in this village knows, as well as I know, how brave and good and noble you are.
Oh, bless him. He didn't lose your letter after all. Oh, bless him 1,000 times over. What is it, Edward? You aren't pleased?
His letter only reminds me of what I failed to do for him.
Edward, just think how your reputation would have been affected if you had spoken on his behalf.
I want to be married. I want to be out of it all. I wish I were dead.
Oh.
You read it. I can't bear to.
Well, I recognize this handwriting. This is the same hand that wrote the letter with that quotation in it. That man who said he was Goodson's friend. It's not signed, but it's the same hand. I am a disappointed man. When I undertook this enterprise, I made a bet with myself that the 12 principal citizens of your community were all corruptible. I was wrong. Your personal honesty is beyond the reach of temptation. I congratulate you. Tomorrow you can expect to receive, as a gift from me, the full ostensible value of this sack. It's a check drawn from the bank for the full amount. Richard, it's $40,000.
Mary, those words are penned with fire. They burn so. If they were true, they would be worth more than $40,000 to me. This Howard L. Stevenson, or whoever this is, has no idea that his first instinct is the right one. I am even worse than the others. As their sin is out in the light, I'm such a hypocrite that as I protest, I prefer to be this way, unexposed. Unless...
What is it?
Unless Burge's letter was sarcastic. It must have been. Where is it?
Oh, right there.
He wrote this letter in such a way that he would make me know that he knows that I could have saved him. Listen. None in this village knows, as well as I know, how... No, this is the part. Knows, as well as I know, how brave and good and noble you are. Do you hear that, Mary? How he keeps saying no over and over. It's obvious. He's telling me he knows.
Oh, Edward, I just can't believe that he would.
Reverend Burgess. And he didn't return, Reverend Burgess, he didn't return the note I gave him with the quotation.
Edward, I just can't believe that Reverend Burgess would do such a thing.
Reverend Burgess, a reverend only in name. No church thanks to me. He will soon be an avenging angel, and I am utterly at his mercy. He is waiting for the right opportunity, and oh, how the town will turn on me. Richards, they will say, your shame is 10 times the shame of the others. And they will be right there.
Amen.
I'm sorry I'm late.
It was short and not particularly sweet. I did the best I could under the circumstances.
I learned of his illness yesterday. I was up in Westbrook.
He was delirious at the end, ranting about some check for $40,000 that he thought he had received. And destroyed, so he said. That number seemed stuck in his head. Poor Richards. What have you found?
Nothing. No one in the surrounding towns reports seeing a man wearing a cape. His sojourn in the region was brief.
And still no idea of the offense he claims to have suffered here?
The town will probably never know what that man did to HadleyBurg. What he did to Mr. Richards. It was devilish. It was satanic. Is that too strong a word?
Well, there's no better word for it. Satan is the tempter. The stranger tempted the townspeople, and their smugness made them ill-prepared for it. I don't believe it. You've seen the letter that took them all down the same path, haven't you?
Yes.
The men who received that letter distorted the truth to feed their greed and serve their self-regard. All of them knowingly cast themselves in a fraudulent role. All 12 of them. Yes, even Richards. That is not footprint. 12 of the 12. A small collection of humanity, you might argue. But what does it mean that all of the collection failed the test? Did the stranger corrupt them? No. He simply exposed their true nature. Our true nature.